Developing news out of the Middle East, the U.S. has once again vetoed a draft resolution by the UN Security Council blocking a demand for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire to the Israel-Hamas war. The U.S. is instead proposing a plan of its own, saying it will allow time for negotiations and will not rush to a vote. President Biden saying he's had extensive conversations with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu over the past several days.
I've made the case, and I feel very strongly about it, that there has to be a temporary ceasefire to get the prisoners out, to get the hostages out.
And this push for a ceasefire comes as Biden's top Middle East advisor is expected to visit Israel and Egypt this week. Let's bring in News Nation's Robert Sherman, who is live in Tel Aviv. Robert, what is the latest here?
Yeah, Nichole, to be clear, there's a lot of nuance here, so we're about to get in the weeds very quickly here. But so what was rejected today in the UN Security Council vote was a proposition put forth by Algeria, which was calling for a ceasefire. The U.S. vetoed that. It's the third time that they've issued such a veto in the UN Security Council. What they are drafting on the sidelines is a proposal which would lead to a temporary ceasefire in exchange for the release of hostages. That's what the U.S. is looking for, which they believe will lead to a long-term solution here. Now, that being said, the U.S. is using the word ceasefire, which marks a change from what we've seen in recent weeks. And a big part of the reason for that is what you're seeing on your screen right now, the situation in Rafah. That has the United States very concerned right now, as the Israelis have made clear they have every intention of going in to topple Hamas's last remaining stronghold and also to get their hostages back. The U.S. is very concerned about the humanitarian situation there, with over 1 million Palestinians sheltering. Some of them have been displaced multiple times. But Israeli President Isaac Herzog saying they really feel as though they have no choice but to go into Rafah. This is what he had to say.
If you want to uproot the terror infrastructure in order to enable a better future for the Palestinians and Israelis, you have to go in physically. In order to go in physically, we operate the rules of international humanitarian law. We alert well in advance. We send millions of leaflets, millions of text messages. We phone call, we direct. We create humanitarian areas and safe zones.
So reiterating this, U.S. says they support a ceasefire in Gaza, quote, as soon as practicable, based on the formula of all hostages being released. Here's the thing, though. Qatar has played a key role in mediating all of these hostage talks, and they say right now they're not very optimistic about a deal.
The time is not in our favor. We made some good progress in the last few weeks in the negotiations, and we've been trying to reach an agreement between the two parties, yet the last few days has not been progressing as expected, and I believe there are still differences in place.
There is a bigger strategy here, Nichole, and we saw this on display at the Munich Security Conference over the weekend. Most every one of these countries is hoping that some kind of a ceasefire is agreed to get hostages out, to get humanitarian aid in, which can be parlayed into a longer-term ceasefire or potentially a permanent one to ultimately lead to a Palestinian statehood solution, what's colloquially known as the two-state solution, unilaterally recognizing Palestine. Israel has since come out and slammed that, saying they have no intention of agreeing to a unilateral recognition of Palestine. They say that is a conversation between the Israelis and the Palestinians, and there are a lot of security measures that need to be worked through. So there's a lot of moving pieces here right now. The next couple of days will be very telling.
Yeah, lots of nuance, as you said there, Robert. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.